Our next guest is a talented actor you know from the Disney Plus series American Born Chinese and movies such as Chang Can Dunk and Mean Girls. He's starring Karate Kid Legends, which is in theaters now. Let's take a look.
Yamazuki, punching block, stronger base.
Windmill block, more dynamic. Hey, everything is a kung fu.
Yeah, well, no.
What happened to two branches, one tree?
One branch stronger than the other.
Please welcome to the show, Ben Wong, everybody. Thanks for being here, Ben.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm happy to have you. It does feel like that was a very unfair clip because you are in your own right an accomplished martial artist, and yet we decided to have a clip where you're just sitting there watching.
Yeah, but it's Jackie Chan. And
It is. It's Machio and Chan. So it is. I guess
Exactly.
it's who wouldn't want to watch those guys?
I wouldn't.
You've actually been here before.
Yes.
You watched this show. I did not realize you watched this show from the audience about a year ago.
We have a lot to talk about, Seth. For someone that I've never ever met before,
Yep.
there's actually a lot of specific things that I can talk to you about.
Great.
One of which is that this is not my first time on the show.
Yeah.
Like a year ago, it was my friend's birthday, and they were like, I really want to watch like a late night show taping, and so we went on the internet, and you guys know this is the lottery thing. So we entered. Yeah.
There we go. Lottery winners. Room full of lottery winners.
So we won, Seth. We won.
That's great.
We had the gold. We skipped down.
You skipped down the
We
street.
skipped down up Fifth Avenue.
You can always
Yeah.
tell who's on their way to my show based on the skipping.
They're skipping.
Yeah.
We were skipping, and we sat right over there.
Okay.
And the most surreal part about it is that like 2 days before that, I just met with one of your booking people about possibly
sometimes
about this appearance.
Right. So you actually had a weird. It must have been a weird perspective to have that.
It was very strange. I didn't like it. Only dawned on me after I sat down. I was like, oh, I might actually be on this someday. And then this is how big of a dweeb I am. I turned to my friend. I was like, should I take notes?
Yeah.
So I took notes, and I.
I did. We printed out your desk.
Yeah, okay.
First of all, I just like that if the person sitting next to you saw you writing notes, they're like, "What are you doing?" You're like, "I might be on one day."
Yeah.
Okay, so here are your thoughts.
These are the real
desk. Desk very small. Seems bigger on TV.
Yeah.
You want to read the next one for me?
That says room in general very small.
Yes. Okay. Maybe that's a note for NBC. I think
And then it says lighting warm and comfortable.
Yeah, that's very nice. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, and then guest chair also small. Parentheses. Is it to make the guests look big?
It is. Yes.
Is it really?
No, I don't know.
Oh,
why.
okay.
And then the last one, I just want to, before you read the last one, just the very fact that you thought this would be a helpful thing to remember.
No, this is the stupidest part about these notes is that none of these are helping me now.
But at least, well, right. But this one definitely isn't.
Yeah, so the crane operator kind of looks like John Malkovich. And
There he is.
I don't mean to call him out.
There's John Malkovich. I guess that's a helpful note, because then, like, today you could have read it and be like, okay, so if I see who I think is John Malkovich,
Yeah, I'm like, that guy
it's
works
probably
the
not
crane.
John Malkovich.
Yeah.
Congratulations on both this movie, and you just finished filming a movie that was written by Mike Scollins, who's a writer here.
Yes.
Now, everybody who writes this show knows that Mike Scollins is a terrible guy who writes the meanest jokes in the world. Mm-hmm. And yet, this is a lovely, genuinely a warm coming-of-age story, and it's wonderful.
I mean, it's a warm coming-of-age story, but it's a story about, like, the saddest boy in the world.
It really is.
So that's the Scollins.
Yeah, that's I guess you like me. But it's an incredibly. I'm very excited for people to see it. But then he also sent us this photo, and so in this photo, it looks like he's teaching you how to throw a punch.
So I just come off of Karate Kid when we shot this. Yeah, he kept challenging me to a fight.
Which seems like a dumb idea.
He kept saying, "Step up."
Okay.
He kept going like, he was like, that's what he did. He was like, "Step up."
That
sounds like Scollins,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
That's exactly what he did.
But you are actually, as I mentioned when you came out, you know martial arts. You're very good at it. But you also auditioned for this film 10,000 people auditioned for this movie.
Yeah, my understanding is that because they did an open call.
Yeah.
And they got 10,000 submission in like the first week.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's an incredible accomplishment to be picked out of 10,000 people. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you.
So, you were born in Shanghai, moved here when you were 6.
Mm-hmm.
And where did your family move to?
I was born in Beijing.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but
excuse me.
I lived all over China,
Gotcha.
Shanghai included. That's where I lived before I
Okay, gotcha.
came to the U.S. And then we went to a little town called Northfield in
Okay.
Minnesota.
Okay, wow. So was that a culture change?
Yeah.
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 It probably like looked different too, I would imagine.
It was, I remember coming down at we got in like February in Minnesota.
Yeah, that's the time to go. Yeah.
And we're driving through what I now understand was a cornfield.
Right.
But as you can imagine, like you're like 6 years old, you're looking out the window, and all you see is the most nothing you've ever seen before in your life. It was kind of scary.
Yeah, I would imagine. What was your level of English when you were 6 years old and came here?
Nil, none.
Nil?
I didn't speak any English, and nobody really helped. My family's like method of teaching me English was sort of like how an uncle teaches like their kick in the pool to swim. Sorry, that's where that metaphor was going.
Yeah.
They just threw me. They threw me in kindergarten, but I picked it up really quick, and I did it by watching 10 hours of television a day.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Wow.
this is actually a really great. If you have a kid that you want them to learn English, just have them watch an unhealthy amount of television. Is my best advice.
Was there any TV that you felt was more helpful than other?
Yeah, the infomercials.
Why?
It was the infomercials. It was
Why
100% the infomercials. Oh yeah, so actually, infomercials. So
Okay.
kids watch a lot of corporate Billy Mays.
Yeah, of course,
You're
Billy Mays.
familiar
Why
with
is Billy Mays so helpful, do you think?
So if you don't speak the language, infomercials are great because they're on every commercial break. It's always
Yeah.
the same one.
Right.
They go on for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then Billy Mays, you know how the way he talks, he like over enunciates everything. So he's like OxyClean, and you're like, look at the absorbing power of this chamois. And right, so, So as a kid, I was like, what's absorbing, what's power, what's chamois?
Yeah.
But the great thing is, he's demonstrating. So he has
Right.
in his hands the chamois. He's got the blue liquid, and he's soaking it up. And he's like, look at the absorbing power of the chamois. And then they push in on the liquid going in. And as a kid, you're like, oh, I feel like. So the next day at school, I was like, I don't understand what anyone's saying unless they're talking about, the absorbing power of.
So did you really like come into your own when there was like a spill?
Yes. If anyone's talking about a spill, zoo books, any conversation about zoo book, I was like, $19.99, you get the whole collection plus the tiger poster.
Machio and Chan, I mean,
Yes.
a couple of legends.
Yes.
It must be incredible to work with them.
Insane.
And also, I would imagine you did most of your own stunts in the film?
I did, yes, most is the word that.
So where do they cut the line? Where do they?
That the lawyers said
Yeah.
I'm okay to use. I didn't do all of them. 'Cause,
Gotcha.
I would not be here with you.
Gotcha.
I would be.
But
on
Jackie
a
Chan kind of
grassy hill.
famously is like an all his stunts guy, yes?
Yeah.
So does he judge you for only doing most?
Yeah. At one point, well, this is a stunt that I did do, but it's not really a stunt. So there's a part in the movie where I'm doing like a sit-up on like a ladder.
Yeah.
It's like in Jackie Chan, old Jackie Chan movies when he's
Yeah.
doing these crazy sit-ups, but it's like the legs are like that, and I got to do this. And when we were rehearsing it, the stunt team built this whole rig with like a rope, and then there's a guy behind who is like, will pull it and it'll help me up. And on the day that we were supposed to shoot it, they couldn't get like this rig to work on the roof, and we were sitting there waiting for them to. It was taking like an hour, and I look over at Jack, and I can tell he was like getting impatient. He was like, and he walks over to me, and he was basically like, just do it, pussy. And then I was like, okay. So then I did it.
Wow, there you go.
so-
Nothing gets you over the.
Nothing gets you over the hump of doing something like
More than
Jackie
Jackie
being
Chan
like,
just telling you to do it.
Stop being such a sissy. Man.
Congratulations on the film, and I'm so excited for everybody to see Brian as well. It is just a delight to have you here. Welcome back. Welcome
Thank you
back.
very much.
Thank you so much, man. And Lonnie, everyone, Karate Kid Legends is in theaters now. We'll be right back with Maria Rella.